In this tutorial we'll look at how we interact with Mamba with a mouse pen on keyboard. So just so we have something to play with, I'm just going to add a couple of things onto the node display. So Mamba can be used with a mouse or a pen. That's entirely your choice. And Mamba uses all three buttons, left, middle and right. So I'll talk about left clicking and right clicking and so on. Obviously for the pen that will be tap down and using the rocker switch on the side. So the left mouse click works as you'd expect to select various items, to add new effects and so on, and to be able to select multiple things with lasso. The right button generally moves the canvas around. So this is holding down the right button or equivalent pen button and dragging around. Same thing works in the visual editor, and it also works with long lists such as directories. Where we see an arrow, that's Mamba telling us that there are subfolders within the folder that we're looking at. Where we see curves, a plus icon shows that our parameters have similar subfolders containing other parameters. In this case the wipe only has the one subfolder, the mask of the circle wipe. The arrow on the right hand side allows us then to open up sets of parameters, and the line shows us which subfolder this group of parameters belongs to. If I open a more complicated effect like the color grader, we can see that actually there are many subfolders. So this allows me to access just the parameters that I want, because whatever is shown here is what's shown on the keyframe graph. If I open parameters that have subfolders, then in fact it will show me the parameters from all the subfolders. So for example, pressing that would actually open all the parameters from every subfolder. If you leave a subfolder open, the red arrow here will show you where those parameters have come from, so you can close them without having to go back into the subfolders. There are different types of entry within Mamba. Where we see a numerical box, we can clear the value or set it back to its default by selecting the title for the parameter and pressing delete. We can change the value by either clicking on it to select it and over-typing and deleting, or we can, with the left button, click and drag the value left and right to go up and down. We can also use the keyboard up and down arrow to nudge the value up and down. So pressing just the up and down arrow, I'll get a single unit of change for each click. I can also modify that with the Control, Shift and Alt keys. So pressing down Alt and using the up and down arrow will give me a tenth of a unit change. And pressing down Shift and clicking will give me 10 units at a time. And pressing Control will give me 100 units at a time. The same modifiers also work with dragging. Without anything pressed, my dragging is normally changing the parameters. If I press Alt, then I get a much finer change. If I press Shift or Control, a much coarser change. Some buttons within Mamba offer multiple choices, in which case left clicking gives you the list of choices, and of course you can just select any individual one. Alternatively, the middle mouse button or associated pen button will toggle through the options. If you're using a mouse with a scroll wheel, then the scroll wheel will act as a zoom. The middle mouse button also allows you to move parameters together. So for example, if I click with the left button, center Y, and then hold down Shift to multiple select center X, if I now drag not with the left button but with the middle button, both of those values will move together. There are also some text entry boxes within Mamba, in which case they can be simply overtyped. Just remember to press Enter at the end in order for it to take effect.